त्रनय कारुण्य घना घनात्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याण गुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्य गीता वादित्र माद्यान् मनसो रसेना रोमाञ्चकं पाशुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् रोमाञ्चकं पाशुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमर्जनादो ग्रहाराधननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमर्जनादो युक्तस्य भक्तांश्च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् तस्य भक्तां नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसाद स्वाद्वन्न तृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्घा चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसाद तृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्घान् कृतैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् कृतैव तृप्ति भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्नां माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्नां प्रतीक्षणास्वाधनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् प्रतीक्षणास्वाधनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् निकुञ्जयूनो रत्केलिसिद्धै यायालिभिर्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया रत्केलिसिद्धै यायालिभिर्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् तत्रातिदक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रैरुक्तस्तथा भाव्यतेव सद्भिः समस्तशास्त्रैरुक्तस्तथा भाव्यतेव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभो या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् प्रिय एव तस्य तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान् न गति कुतोऽपि सादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायं स्तुवां तस्य यस्य स्त्रीसन्ध्यां वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं ध्यायं स्तुवां तस्य यस्य स्त्रीसन्ध्यां वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं वन्दे चरणरविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं वन्दे श्रीचरणरविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Shri Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Ma Jaya Sudarshan Chakra Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Ma Jaya Sudarshan Chakra Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman Jaya Sitaram Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha 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 Jaya Gauranita 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Ushnipada Brahmamsa Pachakacharya Shtota Shata Shishmatis Divine Grace Aparchana Vrinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON PPTPI Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Ushnipada Brahmamsa Pachakacharya Shtota Shata Shishmatis Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premisika Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Chaitra Chaknapuri Dham Ki Jai Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Papa Mochani Ekadashi Ki Jai Ekadashi Vrata Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Samavita Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlade Lade Daine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. सिलाटन कान खालाए इतो नरसिम्हा परे तो नरसिम्हा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिम्हा बहिर्नरसिम्हा हृदये नरसिम्हा बहिर्नरसिम्हा हृदये नरसिम्हा नरसिंहमालिं शरणं प्रपदे तव कर कमलवरे नाखाम् अद्भुत श्रृंगाम ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय
Krishna Preyasi Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha. Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namaha. Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Eya Bilashi. Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Eya Bilashi. जे तुम्हार शरण लोय तारा वांछा पूर्ण होय. कृपा कोरी करो तारे वृंदावनवासी. मोरा ये अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास. नायने रिबो सदा युगल रूपरासी. एनी वेदाना दानो सकीरानुगाता करो. सेवाधिकारा दिए करो निज दासी. दीन कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा होय. दीन कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा होय. श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेम सदा ये न भासी. श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेम सदा ये न भासी. नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी. नमो नमः यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Hari Bo. वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवासत्या विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवे सत्यवताय नमो नमः. वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवासत्या विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवे सत्यवताय नमो नमः. वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवासत्या विष्णु भक्ति पदे देवे सत्यवताय नमो नमः. की जय.
Oh Tulasi, beloved of Krishna, I bow down before you again and again. My desire in the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has wished fulfilled. Bestow mercy upon him and make him a resident of Vrindavana. My desire also grant me residence in the precious groves of Shiva and Damna Dham. Thus within my vision shall behold beautiful paths of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me follow Karadantal Virgin. Please give the Krishna devotional service and make me own maidservant. This very tall and lowly temple of Krishna embrace. May I always swim in the love of Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Purati Marani ki jai. So today is a Papa Mochani Ekadashi. We're fasting from grains and beans. Hare Krishna. There are 10 fences in the matter of chanting holy names should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods of Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuing the Vedic version. 5. To consider glories chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one's auspicious ritualist activities, offering the Vedas as fruity activities, karma, kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments involved in standing so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims a Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer most humble obeisance unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as I trees who can fulfill to everyone and a full of compassion for the fallen conditioned soul. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Jeto Darpana Marjanam Pava Mahatavakni Nirvapanam Shriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Patipadam Purunamita Sadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamitas Maranena Kalaha Etadishi Tabakripa Bhagavam Mamapi Durudeva Midisham Iha Janina Nurakaha Trinatapi Sunijena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadaharihi Nathanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Jammani Jamanishvare Bhavata Bhaktir Haituki Tavayi Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Maham Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duri Satesham Vichintaya Nayanam Kaladashuru Daraya Vadanam Katkada Rudaya Kira Pulaka Nichitam Vapurkada Tava Nama Karane Bhavishati युगायितं निमिषेन चक्षुषा प्रविशायितं शून्यायितं जगत् सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे आश्लिषवापादरतां पिन्नस्तु माम् अदर्शनां मार्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टकम की जय. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is prime benediction of humanity at large because it spreads the rays of magnificent moon. It's the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone carries all benediction human beings. That have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendent names, invested all your transcendent energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out kindness enables us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more taller than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Marginanda Krishna, I'm an eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of Adam's lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, while my voice choke up, or when hairs my body stand the end recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling of separation, I'm considered moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangalacharna prayers ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raknatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanivi Devi Daitaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premadaya Shri Rupa Nukha Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Darine Rupanuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishorhaya Saksha Vairagya Mutaye Vipalambara Sampode Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Bhava Bhumistvam Yadeshta Sajanapriyaha Vaishnava Sarabhama Shri Jagannanthaya Te Namaha Vancha Kaupadurupyascha Kripa Sindhu Pyevacha Patitanam Pavni Pyo Vaishnavi Pyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindo Dinabando Jakapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Srato Pango Mamamanda Materkati มัสสารวะสัพพตังโปจุราธามัตนะโมหโนติเวทวินดาลเนขอพจุมาตชิมัตรานาการสิงหาสนัสโตชิมัตราตาชิลโกวินตเดโวเพชธาริบีเสวมาโนสมรามิชิมันราสารสารัมพิวัมชิวัตตถสถิตะคารชังเวนุสเนโกพิรโกปินาทชิเยตุนะตัปตะกันชนโกรังกีราเทวรินดาวนิชวรีวิชบานุสเตเตวิพนมามิหริปริเยจายชีคริสณเจตัญญาพระบุนิตานันดเชื่อเตเทธาธารชิวาสาติกรปักตรินดHare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Shrimad-Gacchana prayers ki jai Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai So we'll recite all the Govindam prayers Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasukalpa Viksha Lakshariteshu Surabhi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasa Shatasam Brahmasevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Venum Kavanantam Aravinda Dalayatакшam Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kantarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chanta Kalasa Vanamara Vamshi Ranangadam Panayakeli Kalavilasam Shamam Tripanga Laritam Yata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Ritimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chimmaya Satujala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Advaitam Achotam Anadi Mananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedesho Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Pantastu Koti Shatavasara Sampragamyo Vayurathapi Manaso Munipangavaanam Sopyasti Yapapada Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ekopya Sarachayitum Jagatanta Kotim Yachakti Rasti Jagatanta Chayaya Dantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Pavitatiyo Manujastateva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Pushaha Suktayam Eva Nikama Patitai Stuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ananda Chimme Rasa Pratibhavitapis Tapiya Eva Jarupa Tayakalapihi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Premanjana Churutha Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundam Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ramadi Mutishu Kalanyamena Tishtan Nanavatarama Karopu Vaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapamam Yo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yasya Prabhapa Bhavato Jagatanta Koti Koti Shashesha Vesutadi Vibhuti Binnam Tat Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Maya Hi Yasya Jagatanta Shatani Sute Tyagunya Tat Visheveda Vidaya Mana Sattva Valambi Parasatvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ananda Chimme Rasatma Taya Manasu Yapraninam Patipalang Smaratang Vipedya Lila Itena Puvanani Jatajasram Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Golokanam Nijatam Nitare Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridam Suteshu Teshu Dete Prabhavanchaya Vihitasya Yena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Shishti Sthiti Palaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chaye Vayasya Puvanani Piparti Duga Ichanurupam Apescha Chestate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Shiram Yatha Dadi Vikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nahi Tatha Pitagaste Hetoho Yasham Putama Pitata Samapayati Karya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Diparcha Eva Hi Dashantam Apipetya Dipayate Vivrite tu Samana Dharma Yastatik Eva Hi Cha Vishnu Tayavipati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yakaranarna Vachale Pajati Samayoga Nidram Ananta Jagadanta Saroma Kupaha Adara Shakti Mavalampya Param Svarmutim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yasya Kanishwa Sita Kala Matavalampya Jivanti Loma Viraja Jagadanta Nataha Vishnu Mahansa Iha Yasya Kala Vishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Paswa Yatha Shuma Shakaleshu Nijeshu Teja Suyam Kiyapakat Yatya Pitatva Tatra Brahmaya Esha Jagadanta Vitarna Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yat Pada Palava Yukam Vinitaya Kumbha Dwandve Pranama Samaye Sakanadi Rajaha Vignang Vihantum Alam Asya Jagatar Yasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Agnir Mahika Ganam Ambu Maruti Shascha Kalas Tatatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasma Bhavanti Vipavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yachaksha Esha Savita Sakala Karahanam Raja Samasta Suramuti Ashesha Teja Yasyajna Brahmati Sampritakala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Dharmo Tapa Panchaya Shutaya Stapamshi Brahmadi Kita Patagava Dayascha Jiva Yadata Matra Vibhava Prakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yastrinda Gopa Matarinda Mahosa Karma Bandanurupa Palabajanam Atanoti Karma Ninirta Hatikim Tucha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yam Kro the Kama Sahaja Panayadi Biti Vasa Le Moha Guru Gaura Vasevya Bhavehi Sanchintya Tasya Satvishinam Tanu Aparete Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kaupataravo Duruma Bhumish Chintamani Gunamayi Toyam Amritam Kathakanam Natyam Kamanam Ampi Vamshi Priya Sakhi Chidanandam Jyotir Paramapi Tada Swadhyamapi Cha Sayatra Kshirapti Sarvati Surabi Piyascha Sumahan Nimeshardar Kyuva Vrajati Nahi Yatarapi Samayaha Pajeshri Tatwipam Tamaham Iha Golokam Itiyam Vedantaste Santakshti Virachara Katipaye Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Adya Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Krishna, who has Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, he has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in adobe built with spiritual gems, surrounding by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with a head decked with peacock feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shyamasundara is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs and eternally sees, maintains and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis, who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis, who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra-siktas told by the Vedas, by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm Goloka with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confidant Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamasundar Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in the heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Narasimha, Vamana, etc., as a subjective portion.
Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, 7.1, purport.
Shrunvatam svata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayastasto bhadrani vidunoti sursatam nashna prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayasyayi चेतयेतरना वेदं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवत् भक्ति योगतः भगवत् तत्त्व विज्ञानं मुक्त संगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदये ग्रन्थिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दुष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे.
To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord.
By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion, ignorance, and thus material lust, and awares are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his possession of the pure goodness, becomes enlived by devotional service, and understands the signs of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga serves the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamsayam, samagram, understanding the supreme, absolute truth, personality of Godhead.
श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Text 12. Mahabhutani panchaiva bhur apognir marunabha tanmatrani cha tavanti gandhadhini matani me. Mahabhutani, the gross elements, pancha, 5, eva, exactly, buh, earth, avapa, water, agnihi, fire, marut, air, nabaha, ether, tat, matrani, the subtle elements, cha, also, tavanti, so many, gandha, adhini, smell and so on, taste, color, touch and sound, matani, considered, may, by me. Translation: there are 5 gross elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether. There are also 5 subtle elements, smell, taste, color, touch, and sound.
Text 13. Text 13. Indriyani Shrotram Tvagdrig Rasana Naishika Vakaro Charano Medram Payudasama Uchyate. Indriyani, the senses, Dashat and Shrotram, the senses of hearing, the sense of hearing. Tvak, the sense of touch. Drik, the sense of sight. Rasana, the sense of taste. Nasika, the sense of smell. Vak, organ of speech. Karo, 2 hands. Charano, the organs for traveling, legs. Madram, the generative organ. Payu, the evacuating organ. Dashama, the 10th. Uchyate is called. Translation: the senses for acquiring knowledge and the organs for action, number 10, namely the auditory sense, the sense of taste, the tactile sense, the sense of sight, the sense of smell, the active organ for speaking, the active organ for working, and those for traveling, generating, and evacuating. Mano buddhir ahankaras chittam ityantar atmakam chaturda lakshyate vedo vritya lakshana rupaya. Mana, the mind. Buddhi, intelligence. Ahankara, ego. Chittam, consciousness. Iti, thus. Anta atmakam, the internal subtle senses. Chaturda, having 4 aspects. Lakshayate, is observed. Veda, the distinction. Vritya, by their functions. Lakshana rupaya, representing different characteristics. Translation: the internal subtle senses are experienced as having 4 aspects in the shape of mind: intelligence, ego, and contaminated consciousness. Distinctions between them can be made only by different functions, since they represent different characteristics. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The four internal senses or subtle senses described herein are defined by different characteristics. When pure consciousness is polluted by material contamination and when identification with the body becomes prominent, one is said to be situated under false ego. Consciousness is the function of the soul, and therefore behind consciousness there is soul. Consciousness polluted by material contamination is called ahankara.
Text 15. Etavan eva sankhyato brahmana sa gunasyaha sannivesho maya prokto yah kalah panchavimshakaha. Etavan, so much, eva, just, sankhyataha, enumerated, brahmanaha, O Brahman, so sa gunasya, with material qualities, ha, indeed, sanniveshaha, arrangement, maya, by me, proktaha, spoken, yah, which, kalaha, time, pancha vimshakaha, the 25th. Translation: all these are considered the qualified Brahmana. The mixing element, which is known as time, is counted as the 25th element. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. According to the Vedic version, there is no existence beyond Brahman. Sarvam kalah idam Brahma. Chandogya Upanishad 3.14.1. It is stated also in the Vishnu Purana that whenever we see in Parasya Brahmanaha Shaktihi, everything is an expansion of the energy of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Brahman. When Brahman is mixed with the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, there results the material expansion, which is sometimes called Saguna. Brahman, and which consists of these 25 elements. In the Nirguna Brahman, where there is no material contamination, or in the spiritual world, the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are not present. Where Nirguna Brahman is found, simple, unalloyed goodness prevails. Saguna Brahman is described by the Sankhya system of philosophy as consisting of 25 elements, including the time factor, past, present, and future.
Text 16. Prabhavam paurasham prahuhu kalam ekeyato bhayam ahankara vimudasya kaito prakritim iyusha. Prabhavam, the influence, paurasham, of the personality of Godhead, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prahuh, they have said, Kalam, the time factor, Eki, some, Yata, from which, Bhayam, fear, Ahankara, Vimudasya, deluded by false ego, Kaitu, of the individual soul, Prakritim, material nature, Ihyusha, having contacted. Translation: the influence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is felt in the time factor, which causes fear of death due to the false ego of the deluded soul who has contacted material nature. Purport: the living entity's fear of death is due to his false ego of identifying with the body. Everyone is afraid of death. Actually, there is no death for the spirit soul. But due to our absorption In the identification of body as self, the fear of death develops. It is also stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37. Bhayam dvitya biniveshyataha syat. Dvitya refers to matter which is beyond spirit. Matter is a secondary manifestation of spirit, for matter is produced from spirit. Just as the material elements described are caused by the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Spirit, and the body is a product. And the body is also a product of the spirit soul. Therefore, the material body is called Vidya, or the second. One who is absorbed in this second element or second exhibition of the spirit is afraid of death. When one is fully convinced that he is not this body, there is no question of fearing death, since the spirit soul does not die. If the spirit soul engages in the spiritual activities of devotional service, he is completely freed from the platform of birth and death. His next position is completely spiritual freedom from a material body. The fear of death is in the action of Kala, or the time factor, which represents the influence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, time is destructive. Whatever is created is subject to destruction and dissolution, which is the action of time. Time is a representation of the Lord, and it reminds us also that we must surrender unto the Lord. The Lord speaks to every conditioned soul as time. He says in Bhagavad Gita that if someone surrenders unto him, then there is no longer any problem, birth and death. We should therefore accept the time factor as the Supreme Personality of God staring before us. That is further explained in the following verse.
प्रकृतेर्गुणसाम्यस्य निर्विशेषय मानवी चेष्टयता स भगवान् काल इति उपलक्षिताः. Prakriti of material nature, gunasamyasya, without interaction of the three modes, nirvisheshasya, without specific qualities, manavi, O daughter of Manu, chesta, movement, yatha, from whom, saha, he, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, kalaha, time, iti, thus, upalakshita is designated. Translation. My dear mother, O daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, the time factor, as I have explained, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom the creation begins as a result of the agitation of the neutral, unmanifested nature. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The unmanifested state of material nature, pradhana, is being explained. The Lord says that when the unmanifested material nature is agitated by the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it begins to manifest itself in different ways. Before this agitation, it remains in the neutral state, without interaction by the three modes of material nature. In other words, material nature cannot produce any variety of manifestations without the contact of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is very nicely explained in Bhagavad Gita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of the products of material nature. Without his contact, material nature cannot produce anything. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, a very suitable example is given in this connection. Although the nipples on a goat's neck appear to be the breast nipples, they do not give milk. Similarly, material nature appears to the material scientist to act and react in a wonderful manner. But in reality, it cannot act without the agitated time, who is a representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When time agitates the neutral state of material nature, when time agitates the neutral state of material nature begins to produce varieties of manifestation. Ultimately, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of creation. As a woman cannot produce children unless impregnated by a man, material nature cannot produce or manifest anything unless it is impregnated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of the time factor.
अन्तपुरुषरूपेण कलारूपेण यो बहिः समान्वेति एषा सत्त्वानां भगवानात्ममायया Antaha, within, Purusha Rupena, in the form of super soul. Kala Rupena, in the form of time. Yaha, he who bhahi, without Samanveti exists. Eshaha, he, Sattvanam, of all living entities. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atma Mayaya, by his potencies. Translation. By exhibiting his potencies, the Supreme Personality of Godhead adjusts all these different elements, keeping himself within as the Super Soul and without as time. Purport. Here it is stated that within the heart, the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides as the Super Soul. This situation is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. The Super Soul rests beside the individual soul and acts as a witness. This is also confirmed everywhere elsewhere. This is also confirmed elsewhere in the Vedic literature. Two birds are sitting on the same tree of the body. One is witnessing and the other is eating the fruits of the tree. The Purusha or Paramatma who resides within the body of the individual soul is described in Bhagavad Gita 13.23 as the Upadrishta witness in the Anumanta sanctioning authority. The conditioned soul engages The conditioned soul engages in the happiness and distress of the particular body given him by the arrangement of the external energy of the Supreme Lord. But the Supreme Living Being, or the Paramatma, is different from the conditioned soul. He is described in Bhagavad Gita or Mahesh as Maheshvara, or the Supreme Lord. He is Paramatma. But the Supreme Living Being, or the Paramatma, is different from the conditioned soul. He is described in Bhagavad Gita as Maheshvara, or the Supreme Lord. He is Paramatma, not Jivatma. Paramatma means a super soul who is sitting by the side of the conditioned soul just to sanction his activities. The conditioned soul comes to the material world in order to lord it over material nature. Since one cannot do anything with the sanction of the Supreme Lord, without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, he lives with the Jiva soul as a witness and sanction giver. He is also Bhakta. He gives maintenance and sustenance to the conditioned soul. Since the living entity is constitutionally part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord is very affectionate to the living entities. Unfortunately, when the living entity is bewildered or illusioned by the external energy, he becomes forgetful of his eternal relationship with the Lord. But as soon as he becomes aware of his constitutional position, he is liberated. The minute independence of the conditions. The minute independence of the conditioned soul is exhibited by his marginal position. If he likes, he can forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead and come into the material existence with a false ego to lord it over the material nature. But if he likes, he can turn his face to the service of the Lord. The individual living entity is given that independence. He is conditional. His conditional life is his conditional life is ended. His conditional life is ended, and his life becomes successful as soon as he turns his face to the Lord. But by misusing his independence, he enters into this material existence. Yet the Lord is so kind that as super soul, he always remains with the conditioned soul. The concern of the Lord is neither to enjoy nor to suffer from the material body. He remains with the jiva simply as sanction giver and witness, so that the living entity can receive the results of his activities, good or bad. Outside the body of the conditioned soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead remains as the time factor. According to the Sankhya system of philosophy, there are 25 elements. The 24 elements already described plus this time factor make 25. According to some learned philosophers, the supersoul is included to make a total of 26 elements.
Text 19. Naivad Kshubita Dharminyam Swasyam Yona Parapuman Adatta Viryam Shashuta Mahatattvam Hiranmayam. Daivad, by the destiny of the conditioned soul. Kshubita, agitated. Dharminyam, whose equilibrium of the modes. Swasyam, his own, yo now in the womb, material nature. Parapuman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Adatta, impregnated. Viryam, semen, his internal potency. Sa, she, material nature. Asuta, delivered. Mahatattvam, the sum total of cosmic intelligence. Hiranmayam, known as Hiranmaya. Translation: after the Supreme Personality of Godhead impregnates material nature with his internal potency, material nature delivers the sum total of the cosmic intelligence, which is known as Hiranmaya. This takes place in the material nature when she is agitated by the destinations of the conditioned souls. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This impregnation of material nature is described in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, verse 3. Material nature's prime factor is the Mahatattva, or breeding source of all varieties. This part of the material nature, which is called Pradhana, as well as Brahman, is impregnated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and delivers varieties of living entities. Material nature in this connection is called Brahman because it is a perverted reflection of the spiritual nature. It is described in the Vishnu Purana that the living entities belong to the spiritual nature. The potency of the Supreme Lord is spiritual, and the living entities, although they are called marginal potency, are also spiritual. If the living entities were not spiritual, this description of impregnation by the Supreme Lord would not be applicable. The Supreme Lord does not put his semen into that which is not spiritual, but it is stated here that the Supreme Person puts his semen into material nature. This means that the living entities are spiritual by nature. After impregnation, material nature delivers all kinds of living entities, beginning from the greatest living creature, Lord Brahma, down to the insignificant ant, in all varieties of form. In Bhagavad Gita 14.4, material nature is clearly mentioned as Sarva Yonisu. This means that of all varieties of species, demigods, human beings, animals, birds, beasts, whatever is manifested, material nature is the mother, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the seed giving father. Generally, it is experienced that the father gives life to the child, but the mother gives its body. Although the seed of life is given by the father, the body develops within the womb of the mother. Similarly, the spiritual living entities are impregnated into the womb of material nature, but the body, being supplied by material nature, takes on many different species and forms of life. The theory that the symptoms of life are manifest by the interaction of the 24 material elements is not supported here. The living force comes directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is completely spiritual. Therefore, no material scientific advancement can produce life. The living force comes from the spiritual world and has nothing to do with the interaction of the material elements.
Vishammatmagatam vagnan kutastok jagadag ankuraha svateja sapiba Tivram atma prashvapanam tamaha Vishvam, the universe, Atma Gatam, contained within itself. Vagnan, Vanjan. I'm sure it's Vagnan. Let me check. Oh yeah, it's Vyanjan, manifesting. Kutastha, unchangeable. Jagat Ankuraha, the root of all cosmic manifestations. Svatejasa, by its own effulgence. Apibat, swallowed. Tivram, dense. Atma Prashvapanam, which had covered the Mahatattva, the Maha, darkness. Translation. Thus, after manifesting variegatedness, the effulgent Mahatattva, which contains all the universes within itself, which is the root of all cosmic manifestations, and which is not destroyed at the time of annihilation, swallows the darkness that covers the effulgence at the time of destruction, a dissolution. Purport. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ever existing, all blissful and full of knowledge, his different energies are also ever existing in the dormant stage. Thus, when the Mahatattva was created, it manifested the material ego and swallowed up the darkness which covered the cosmic manifestation at the time of dissolution. This idea can be further explained. A person at night remains inactive, covered by the darkness of night. But when he is awakened in the morning, the covering of night, or the forgetfulness of the sleeping state, disappears. Similarly, when the Mahatattva appears after the night of dissolution, the effulgence is manifested to exhibit the variegatedness of this material world.
Text 21. यत्तत् सत्त्वगुणं स्वच्छं शान्तं भगवता पदं यदाहुर्वासुदेवख्यं चित्तं तन्महद् आत्मकं yat which tat that sattvagunam the mode of goodness swacham clear shantam sober bhagavataha the personality of godhead padam the status of understanding yat which ahu is called vasudeva akhyam by the name vasudeva chittam consciousness tat that mahat atmakam manifest in the mahatattva translation the mode of goodness, which is a clear, sober status of understanding the Supreme, the personality of Godhead, and which is generally called Vasudeva or consciousness, becomes manifest in the Mahatattva. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Vasudeva manifestation, or the status of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called pure goodness or Shuddha Tattva. In the Shuddha Tattva status, there is no infringement of the other qualities, namely passion and ignorance. In the Vedic literature, there is mention of the Lord's expansion as the four personalities of Godhead Vasudeva, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Here, in the reappearance of the Mahatattva, the four expansions of Godhead occur. He who is seated within as Supersoul expands first as Vasudeva. The Vasudeva stage is free from infringement by material desires and is a status in which one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the objective which is described in the Bhagavad Gita as Adbhuta. This is another feature of the Mahatattva. The Vasudeva expansion is also called Krishna consciousness, for it is free from all tinges of material passion and ignorance. This clear state of understanding helps one to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vasudeva status is also explained in Bhagavad Gita as Kshetrajna, which refer to the knower of the field of activities as well as the superknower. The living being who has occupied a particular type of body knows that body, but the superknower Vasudeva knows not only a particular type of body, but also the field of activities in all the different varieties of bodies. In order to be situated in clear consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one must worship Vasudeva. Vasudeva is Krishna alone. When Krishna or Vishnu is alone, without the accompaniment of his internal energy, he is Vasudeva. When he is accompanied by his internal potency, he is called the Dwarakadisha. To have clear consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one has to worship Vasudeva. It is also explained in Bhagavad Gita that after many births, one surrenders to Vasudeva. Such a great soul is very rare. In order to get release from the false ego, one has to worship Sankarshana. Sankarshana is also worshipped through Lord Shiva. The snakes which cover the body of Lord Shiva are representations of Sankarshana, and Lord Shiva is always absorbed in meditation upon Sankarshana. One who is actually a worshipper of Lord Shiva, as a devotee of Sankarshana, can be released from false material ego. If one wants to get free from mental disturbances, one has to worship Aniruddha. For this purpose, worship of the moon planet is also recommended in the Vedic literature. Similarly, to be fixed in one's intelligence, one has to worship Pradyumna, who is reached through the worship of Brahma. These matters are explained in Vedic literature.
स्वच्छत्वं नाविकारित्वं कारित्वं सन्तात्वं नीतिचेतसः वृत्तिभिर्लक्षणं प्रोक्तं यथापं प्रकृतिपरा स्वच्छत्वं clarity avikariत्वं freedom from all distraction. Santatvam, serenity. Iti thus. Chetasaha of consciousness. Vritti bihi, by characteristics. Lakshanam, traits. Proktam, called. Yata, as. Apam, of water. Prakriti, natural state. Para, pure.
After the manifestation of the Mahatattva, these features appear simultaneously. As water in its natural state, before coming in contact with the earth, is clear, sweet, and unruffled. So the characteristic traits of pure consciousness are complete serenity, clarity, and freedom from distraction. Purport. The pure status of consciousness or Krishna consciousness exists in the beginning, just after creation. Consciousness is not polluted. The more one becomes material contaminated, however, the more consciousness becomes obscured. In pure consciousness, one can perceive a slight reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As in clear, unagitated water, free from impurities, one can see everything clearly. So in pure consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one can see things as they are. One can see the reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one can see his own existence as well. This state of consciousness is very pleasing, transparent, and sober. In the beginning, consciousness is pure.
Text 23 to 24. Mahatatvad vikurvana bhagavad virya sambhavat kriya shakti ahankaras trivida samapadyata vaikarika taijasascha tamasascha yato bhavaha manasaschendriyanam cha bhutana mahatamapi. Mahatatvat. From the Mahatattva, Vikurvanat, undergoing a change, Bhagavat Virya Sambhavat, evolved from the Lord's own energy, Kriya Shakti, endowed with active power, Ahankara, the material ego, Trividaha, of the three kinds, Samapadyata, sprang up, Vaikarika, material ego in transformed goodness, Taijasaha, material ego in passion, Cha, and Tamasaha, material ego in ignorance, Cha, also Yadaha, from which Bhavaha, the origin, Manasaha, of the mind, Cha, and Indriyanam, of the senses, for perception and action, Cha, and Bhutanam Mahatam, of the five gross elements, Api, also. Translation. The material ego springs up from the Mahatattva, which evolved from the Lord's own energy. The material ego is endowed predominantly with active power of the three kinds, good, passionate, and ignorant. It is from these three types of material ego that the mind, the senses of perception, the organs of action, and the gross elements evolve. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the beginning, from clear consciousness or the pure state of Krishna consciousness, the first contamination sprang up. This is called false ego or identification of the body as self. The living entity exists in the natural state of Krishna consciousness, but he has marginal independence, and this allows him to forget Krishna. Originally, pure Krishna consciousness exists, but because of misuse of marginal independence, there is a chance of forgetting Krishna. This is exhibited in actual life. There are many instances in which something acting in Krishna consciousness suddenly changes. In the Upanishad, it is stated therefore that the path of spiritual realization is just like the sharp edge of a razor. The example is very appropriate. One shaves his cheeks with a sharp razor very nicely, but as soon as his attention is diverted from the activity, he immediately cuts his cheek because he mishandles the razor. Not only must one come to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness, but one must also be very careful. Any inattentiveness or carelessness may cause fall down. This fall down is due to false ego. From the status of pure consciousness, the false ego is born because of misuse of independence. We cannot argue about why false ego arises from pure consciousness. Factually, there is always a chance that this will happen, and therefore one has to be very careful. False ego is a basic principle for all material activities, which are executed in the modes of material nature. As soon as one deviates from pure Krishna consciousness, he increases his entanglement in material reaction. The entanglement of materialism is a material mind, and from this material mind, the senses and material organs become manifest. Text 25. Sahasrashirasam sakshad yam anantam prachakshate shankarshanakhyam purusham bhutendriya manomayam. Sahasrashirasam, with 1,000 heads, sakshat directly, yam whom anantam ananta, prachakshate they all sankarshanakhyam, sankarshana by name. Prajakshata, they all Sankarshanakyam, Sankarshana by name, Purusham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhuta, the gross elements, Indriya, the senses, Manah Mayam, consisting of the mind. Translation: the threefold Ahankara, the source of the gross elements, the senses, and the mind, is identical with them because it is their cause. It is known by the name of Sankarshana, who is directly Lord Ananta with 1,000 heads. Today we read up to Canto 3, Chapter 26, Text 25. Continue reading tomorrow. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokan Samastu Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Krishna. It will take 5 minutes to settle down.
Okay, go then. Let's go. Oh, he's here. Prabhuji's here.
Okay. I put message. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Sing. Sri Guru Charana Padmam Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Bandhamui Savadana Mate. Jara Prasade Bhagavate Bhavaturiya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hote. Gurumukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Koriya Kya. Arana kori ho mani asha. Sri Guru Chera Nirati Aise Uttama Gati. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते वेदे गाय जहाँ चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदामा जैनारा बंधु लोकना लोकेरा जीवाना आहा प्रभु कोरो दोया देह मोरे पादा चाया ए बीजा दुसुख त्रिभुवाना लीला प्रभुपाद पतिता पावाना जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिन्जिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशातारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्यं प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nityai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nityai Gaura Hari Bol. The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can identify devotion service. I bow down